Look, it's snowing.
I know, it's
You have the snow in the background?
Yeah, that's why I'm here. Hello and welcome back, ladies. Thanks for clicking on another one of my videos. I wanted to hop on really quick and give a little update on what the RE said when I visited her last Monday and where our adoption stands, just so you are all in the loop. Forgiveness for how I look today. We did a bunch of cleaning this morning, and as you can see, it is super snowy outside, so I just didn't feel like getting all dressed up. And it's also, I'm filming this on the last day of like Thanksgiving vacation. That makes it sound like I'm in school. Thanksgiving break. So I didn't feel like getting all dressed up today because we're not going anywhere out in this weather. But let's start with the RE. So I went to go sit down and have a consultation with my RE last Monday to go over the results of our miscarriage genetic panel, as well as our steps going forward. She was really super sweet and nice and sad to see me back, obviously, but she didn't put up any resistance when I requested that we just go ahead and go forward with IVF with PGS testing. She said that's totally reasonable. She was also willing to let us go ahead and do more injectable cycles if we wanted to go back to that, but I just told her no. If we were gonna try with injectable cycles again, she was gonna order the karyotyping genetic panel, but since we're gonna go ahead with IVF, she's like, there's no need because they will obviously test them during PGS. But she did order a recurrent miscarriage panel just to make sure that nothing would show up on there. I don't expect there to be anything. I don't really have any symptoms of any of the things that I know about that they test on there, but I'm glad she ordered it just in case. Obviously, we don't want to go through IVF if there's gonna be something else wrong. But to get the IVF process started, I had to activate my fertility insurance because I've actually never done that. I've just been going through my regular insurance because I didn't want to use up credit through my fertility insurance. So I went ahead and got that set up, and they explained to me the cost of fertility, of IVF, because they use a currency called Smart Cycles in that insurance instead of like a dollar amount. So we went over what one Smart Cycle gets you and what IVF costs in that unit and how much just a banking cycle costs. So I'm going to spend 3/4 of a cycle of my Smart Cycle credits doing a banking cycle of IVF, probably in January if everything works out. That being said, there are a bunch of tests that we need to do over again through the labs that the fertility insurance trusts and works through, and the husband has to go in and get more tests done as well before we get through. But it's a really nice little checklist that you have to go through before they'll approve it all the way, and I'm like more than happy to jump through those hoops since it's all covered under that. So we're working in December to make sure all those tests get done and get a protocol set up so that we can hopefully start in January. Now, as far as an adoption update, I have my first set of paperwork all done. The only things left to do for the adoption paperwork are to go get our physicals. The husband and I both need physicals to prove that we're not like riddled with cancer or having debilitating migraines or anything. So make sure that we're in tip-top shape. Then we need one of the pieces of paper notarized, but we also need to go get our fingerprints once a different form starts to get processed. So you kind of can do all of these things in parallel and do them in bits and pieces, but we're gonna get the KBI request in because that is what takes the longest. The agent said that it probably takes about
Look, it's snowing.
I know, it's
You have the snow in the background?
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Wow, it's a winter wonderland.
Do you want to come say hi?
Hi.
Thanks, husband. Where was I? Oh yeah, so we have a few forms that we can do in parallel. We're waiting for the Kansas Bureau of Investigation to get done, but that takes 6 weeks. So we have a decent amount of time to get our other forms in, get our physicals done. There's no need to rush that. And we also are gonna do our home study visits in between now and then. those are gonna consist of 3 3-hour sessions with our social worker, where she's gonna ask us a bunch of questions and evaluate our house and all that kind of stuff. So those need to get on the calendar, and those probably won't get done until early January. Ideally, we could get all the home study stuff done before I start stimming. It does not sound fun to do those both at the same time, but I do want to get them both taken care of. It would make me feel good to know how my body responds to stims and IVF egg retrieval, and know that we could have embryos on ice ready for when we're ready to do an IVF transfer. And it would also make me feel really good to get all of our home study stuff in early January so we could be ready to go. Originally, I wanted to get everything done by January 1st, but it takes 6 weeks. So I'm still shooting for January to have everything done, our profile book done, and all of our paperwork in and our home study done. That was my goal by the end of January. So a lot is going to happen between now and January. I am going to continue to make my skill up videos about adoption, if you guys are interested in watching those. And as always, leave any questions or comments down below. I do read and respond to them all, and really appreciate that you gals are watching. Until next time, ladies, keep on fighting.